Alright, fellow Slayers, time for the second episode of Review of the Day, which is Living Conditions. Buffy's in her dorm room at Stevenson Hall at the UC Sunnydale campus. Her roommate Kathy Newman is cheerfully ironing her jeans while listening to Sheriff's Believe. Buffy, needing to patrol, tells Kathy that she is heading out to the grotto to get some caffeine. Before Buffy leaves, Kathy informs her that she has devised a system to keep track of calls so that it can be properly billed. She also noticed that some of her milk was missing from the mini fridge. Buffy was up to taking some milk for her coffee. During the conversation, the sheriff song ends and Kathy quickly runs the CD player to restart the same song. Buffy meets up with Willow, who knows that Buffy's having trouble getting past Kathy to patrol without getting lots of questions asked. Then she leaves to see Oz. As Buffy is patrolling, Kathy jumps out onto the path, claiming that she had decided to join Buffy at the grotto. Suddenly, Buffy is attacked by orange-skinned, glowing blue-eyed demon. Before Kathy can see what is happening, Buffy shoves her into the shrubs. Buffy fights off the demon, and when Kathy climbs out of the bushes, complaining about her sword being ruined, Buffy says someone tried to take her backpack. As they leave, they are watched by two of the same type of demon that just attacked. One comments, "She may be the one." The next morning, Buffy goes to Giles' flat to describe the previous night's monster. Buffy's atypical interest in what Giles has planned for the day rouses his suspicion, and, when pressed, she admits she is avoiding her dorm room until Kathy leaves for classes. Meanwhile, Kathy's in the dorm room scrubbing the grass stain on her sweater. She spies Buffy's closet and takes looks inside. She finds a sweater that she likes and removes it from the closet. As she does this, she notices Buffy's weapon bag, pulls out a crossbow and a cross, first looking shocked and then shrugging at such bizarre equipment. At the Rocket Cafe, Buffy's alone when she spots Kathy. She quickly ducks behind another patron, Parker Abrams, who introduces himself and strikes up a conversation about how to maximize her dining hall card. Buffy joins Will, Oz, and Xander, and recognizes Xander as the odd man out since he is not a college student. The group discuss the encounter with Parker and the previous night's demon attack. Buffy's annoyed when Kathy, wearing Buffy's sweater, invites herself to their table. Kathy remarks that since Buffy ruined her sweater, she didn't think she would mind. As Kathy takes a bite of her burger, Buffy watches intensely as ketchup drips onto her borrowed sweater. That evening, Buffy complains to Willow on the phone about Kathy. As Kathy enters the room, Buffy hangs up, and Kathy reminds Buffy that to lock her calls, then proceeds to loudly floss her teeth. Buffy goes to place an apple in the mini fridge. Upon opening it, she is stunned to find everything is now labeled Kathy's name, including each egg. Kathy gets up and shuts the window on Buffy's side of the room. Buffy immediately goes back and opens it. Kathy picks up her book and finds it stuck to the table with a wad of chewing gum. Buffy, who is at the moment chewing gum, solves it while denying that she knows anything about it. Both angrily turn out their lights and go to sleep. Buffy dreams of an orange blue idea and pouring blood down her throat, putting a scorpion on her stomach, and sucking glowing essence from her mouth. She wakes next morning to find Kathy staring at her and asks if she always makes that much noise when she sleeps. At school, Buffy describes the dream to Willow, Oz, and Giles. Kathy enjoys the group and overhears Giles talking about analyzing dreams. Kathy remarks that she had an odd dream and describes the same dream as Buffy had. Buffy and Kathy spar passive-aggressively as Buffy tries to get Kathy to leave. Buffy asks Kathy if she shouldn't be getting to class. Kathy remarks that her schedule is off since someone kept her up all night. Kathy leaves and Buffy complains to the group. After Buffy leaves, Giles blames the dream on the previous night's encounter with the demon and everyone expresses concern about how stressed Buffy is acting. That night, the two demons meet again and confirms that she is the one. The group chants around a large fire, preparing to summon the great Taparich. Buffy walks into her room to find Parker and Kathy chatting on Kathy's bed as Sheriff's Believe is playing again. Parker nervously gives Buffy some Ziploc bags to aid her cafeteria hoarding skills. Kathy horns in again. Buffy gets annoyed and snaps at them. Parker leaves with a promise to meet up with Buffy again another time. But Buffy puts a lock in her closet while Kathy starts the loud flossing. Buffy opens the window and Kathy complains that she is cold. Buffy tells her to deal with it, and they argue. Kathy calls Buffy spoiled and says it's share time. Buffy goes to the fridge, takes Kathy's marked milk, and gulps until it's flowing out of her mouth. Willow and Oz are walking back to Willow's dorm room, discussing Buffy's odd behavior. Oz offers to watch Buffy while by patrolling with her. As he walks outside to find Buffy, he passes an unknown woman and shares an intense look. Oz finds Buffy, and she grabs the arguments she had with Kathy. She smashes a bench when she describes what she wanted to do with Kathy. Back at the dorm, Kathy is cutting toenails at the end of her bed, letting the cut pieces fly onto the floor. Buffy, annoyed, starts tapping her pencil loudly. Kathy joins her out by turning on the CD player to hear Cher's Believe. That night, Buffy has the same dream again. When she wakes in the morning, Kathy is tossing and turning. A little while later, Kathy's in the dorm hallway complaining to Willow about Buffy. Buffy approaches, and Kathy makes a quick exit. Buffy tells Willow, Kathy's evil. I'm an evil fighter. It's simple. I'm going to have to kill her. Buffy pulls up a Ziploc bag filled with toenail clippings, which says she collected the previous night and measured. When she went to them again in the morning, they had grown. Buffy explains, that's a demon thing. Willow convinces Buffy to ask Giles about Kathy being a demon. As Buffy leaves, Willow calls Giles to warn him about the strange behavior. Buffy goes to Giles to show him the toenails ambushed by Xander, Oz, and Giles. They drop a net on her and tie her with ropes. Giles believes that Buffy is possessed by the demon from the encounter in the woods and goes together as a place for a spell to end the possession. Tied up, Buffy tries to convince Oz and Xander that Kathy's evil and needs to be stopped. They worry that they didn't tie her up well enough, and when they approach to check, Buffy uses her free hands to smash their heads together, knocking them out. Buffy turns to the door and finds Kathy there. They decide to talk. Buffy accidentally kicks Kathy's throw out of place. Kathy responds by punching Buffy in the face. They begin to fight, and Buffy rips off Kathy's face to find that she is an orange, glowing, blue-eyed demon. She screams that she knew it just as Kathy jumps at her. As this happens, the two demons in the woods summon Tapa Ridge using the ritual Moktagar. Meanwhile, Giles realizes that Buffy was right, using toenail clippings as evidence. He tells Will, Oz, and Xander that the Moktagar are transdimensional demons, and the ritual that Buffy described in her dreams is used to steal someone's soul. Moktagar can recognize their own kind by the lack of a soul. Kathy tells Buffy that she left her dimension without permission to attend college, fears that her family of demons will come to take her back. She wanted to borrow Buffy's soul so that, when the Moktagar came looking, Buffy would be the one without a soul, and they would take her instead of Kathy. Giles casts a spell from his flag that returns part of Buffy's soul already taken during the previous nights. Tapa Ridge arrives to take his daughter Kathy back to their dimension. He opens a portal, and they both disappear. Having her own roommate problems, Willow moves in with Buffy and apologizes for doubting her suspicions on Kathy, and she is forgiven. They decorate the room with Willow's belongings, and Buffy watches intensely as Willow takes a bite of Buffy's sandwich. Okay then. So let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. Buffy asks Giles if he is trying to recapture his youth, and mentions that the last time it was Yick, referring to the episode Band Candy, when he was under the influence of the cursed milk bar that made him and the whole town act like teenagers. Giles tells Buffy that adjusting to a roommate can be hard for an only child. Buffy says as an only child will change a year later with the introduction of Dawn. Still, Buffy will be initially irritated by the presence of a younger sister. The girl with whom Oz feels a connection with on his way to Buffy is Veruca. And wild and hard, Oz will discover that she is a werewolf like him, which is why he felt such a connection to her. Some initiative commandos make a brief appearance in this episode once again, but their purpose will only be revealed in the initiative. Will compares Buffy's behavior to their former classmate Cordelia, whom we last saw on Graduation Day Part 2. This episode sees the departure of Buffy's roommate Kathy. Buffy will share her dorm with Willow until she leaves UC Sunnydale. It's established that Hank Summers is still helping to fund Buffy's education. She'll visit him in I Will Remember You, but an estrangement between them will first be mentioned in the episode Family. This is the 6th episode without any vampires, which The Pack, I Robot You Jane, The Puppet Show, and Ika Mummy Girl are the first 5. That's true. Alright, let's take a look at some production notes from this episode. The official synopsis for this episode identified Parker's last name as Finch, but it's revealed in the universe to be Abrams. In the original script, the song Kathy plays over and over was Butterfly by Mariah Carey. Joss Whedon said that this episode was a total accurate portrayal of Roomies. I almost hired a man to kill him when he strayed in his rug one time. He hated me even more. This episode, about a quarter under 42 minutes, is the shortest episode of Buffy that aired on the WB. At the same time, this episode is still longer than any of those aired on UPN, with the exception of the premiere Bargaining Part 1, the musical episode Once More a Feeling, and the series finale Chosen. Walter Borchardt, here playing a Montague demon, also portrays the waking vampire in The Freshman and the vampire Jeff in Crush. Roger Morrissey, here portraying Tabarich, also plays the Hansel Gretel Strauss demon in Gingerbread. Then finally, let's take a look at some pop culture references. While discussing her roommate's pop musical tastes, Buffy contrasted with trip hop. Willow says, "Do you know about the grr in girl? A possible allusion to the right girl movement, which focuses on female empowerment." Excuse me. When Buffy discovers his motorbike in Scooter magazine, Giles describes himself as a mod jogger, which is a British originated subculture with a focus on fashion, music, and motor scooters. Barr describes Madonna and Whitney Houston as underrated artists. He also mentions the Detroit Red Wings. Okay then. So overall, I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, the fact that Kathy was actually a demon the whole entire time, that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. So yeah. So overall, I give Living Conditions 4 vampire steaks out of 5. But anyway, tune in a bit as we took the final episode of the day, The Harsh Light of Day. So, until then, here endeth the lesson.